Hey guys, I am here with the wonderful Jill Bunny, who's one of our amazing clients in the HBA Health Business Accelerator Program. Just want to take a couple minutes to talk about your journey and your experience with us to just shed some light if there's anyone out there, wondering about.
Absolutely. I'd
does this
say
work?
for anybody listening, it's always nice to hear from someone else's point of view that's been in the program.
Yeah.
So ask me any questions. I'm an open book. So hopefully this can
Where were
shed
you in
light.
Dr. Evil? Anyways, let's start off with this. Just give us some context about who you serve and what your business looked like where things were before you started working with us a few months ago.
I would say that if there's a character of a squirrel that would say I do this and this and this, that would be me, until working with you to really fine tune what it is that I offer. And what you taught me, to go into some detail before exactly what I do, the product or the service is just the outcome, which I realized, and it's the emotional reaction that I can give to the clients that I work with. So overall, I just focus on neuroscience and helping women train their brains to be successful in whatever it is they do. And in hindsight, I have two businesses that I work with you, and one of them is with NeuroSlim Solutions. So I'm the founder and head coach and now have a team behind me. And we basically help serve women lose weight and feel confident stepping on the scale without that dreaded obsession over apps and counting calories, by basically transforming the brain and using CBT and neuroscience. And then I take that same approach in the Brand Image Academy, where visual images matter, which we know in the HBA. That's been my background in photography and modeling and competitions, and I love photos. So I realized that was a niche and a gap that was missing, was for people to actually get their message across through visual images. So that's the second business, and it's all through the brain. So I still do many things, but it is more focused and fine-tuned.
Yeah, that's awesome. What was your big frustration before starting to work with us that you wanted help solving, really?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, I didn't know there was a frustration, that I was just complacent and comfortable. I was just I'm making great money. This is I can just keep doing this the rest of my life. And we had a lunch and I just thought, well, I'm great. This is fantastic. Why would I complain? And after talking to you, I realized that I'm a competitor. I'm an athlete. I might be retired now, but I lost my edge. So I didn't have that motivation and drive and that dopamine hit, all those neurotoxins that are behind me. I didn't have it. And I was just well, this is the way it is. And you kind of just lit that fire. And that's what I realized that I was missing, that I didn't even know. I just didn't have that spark in me to realize that actually I was only reaching maybe a quarter of my potential because I just got stuck.
Yeah. And that's so common. And listen, you're, I think, part of a small percentage of people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same way. It's not about things are bad. It's things are good, but we want them to be great.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's tough to do that by yourself, right? So that's awesome. I love the fact that you're just constantly looking for the next level. So what was your hesitation, if you had one, in joining us?
Well, I think that most people are listening. They're like, I've done a coaching program before and it was shit. Right. I'm going to be honest on here. And I did, but I don't think I was ready till we actually met in the summer, because I finished a master class. And I didn't get what I thought that I deserved and I paid for. And talking with you and reflecting back, I did get what I paid for. And it was just that reflective moment that you get what you put in, but there's so much more to it than just, I didn't get my ROI within 8 months. That wasn't the case. I learned a lot more about myself. And the biggest thing was asking questions, and the right one. So I realized in the coaching programs, and if anyone's listening, it's where are you right now in your business? What is this coaching program? And do you fit that program, or are you not there yet? Or are you too far beyond? And the problem was, I joined a masterclass where people were just beginning their business, yet I had a business for 10 years. So they were talking about what's an email list. So I had already been there and I just wasn't in the right section, but I didn't ask the right questions. So that's my own responsibility. So that was kind of my hesitation, was am I going to get into the same thing? And after talking with you, I'm no, just own it. Own that you didn't sign up for the right program. You got what you came from, but I will never make that same mistake again. And working with you, I just knew that you have to go all in and trust the person that's there, and you're going to get a lesson regardless. And I got the best lesson of all, and realized that you can have one bad coach. That doesn't mean you're going to have another.
100%. And I mean, it's like with relationships, one bad relationship doesn't mean every other relationship moving forward is going to be bad either, right?
Yep.
But yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, honestly, because a lot of people do, have had that experience where like, I got scammed, or I spend money that I, wish I didn't. And I think, you bring up a good point that I do believe that value is an extraction game. Right? And I think, seeing how you show up on our calls and the questions you ask, and what I love about working with you is that you ask a question, you get an answer, and then just take action and put it to work. Right. Which is part of the reason why, you've gained so much traction. So what results, what are you comfortable sharing on video here about like some of the results you've enjoyed since working with us in your business?
So I actually, before on the call, I got to get my numbers right. So I'd say the first big win, I had a fear of numbers before working with you. I would do well, we can look at the numbers, but I just never wanted to go into analysis because I was afraid that it would show that I wasn't good enough. But I'm realizing, going from a therapy background, I'm like, oh yeah, that still comes back when you don't deal with all your crap from your past, even though it's personal, it shows up in your business. And I realized that just my fear of numbers and saying, okay, well, what is good enough? I had to understand what that exactly was. So you kind of helped me from that perspective. And then the second thing was I had to have a system. So I do very well from social media, but being in the business for 10 years, took a long time to build up my business. So it's not like I was starting from scratch, but I didn't have a strategic system that would allow me to get to a 7 figures. And just like you say, we hear this dream pipeline that I'm going to make a 7-figure business. We all have it as business owners, but it's a dream. It's not a reality if you don't have the skills, because that gives you utility, and you don't have the mindset. And looking in hindsight last year, there's no way I'd be a 7-figure business owner because I didn't have the skills. And I also didn't have the mindset to be $1 million business owner. Absolutely no way. I couldn't handle it. So by working with you, you once gave me the pipeline, the actual system that can bring people in, and I can bring a team underneath me, teach them the same things. Then I have that self-confidence that I can be that 7-figure business owner by the end of the year.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
I just want to kind of touch on a couple things, because you have posted a few times about we just enrolled this number of clients into our BIA program, or this one. Talk about how because you mentioned something important, you have a following on social, on Instagram, that is, anyone would love to have that, but you said it took you a long time to build that up, right? Most people watching this may not have that level of clout. So what results have you been able to achieve by leveraging that following with our support, with our help, with our systems? But also, what else have you been able to do independent of that with our pipeline, et cetera?
Facebook ads. I was a person that would boost a post or put one on and be like, yeah, and it didn't work. Or you hit and miss. I don't even know if it worked, to be honest, because you never look at the metrics. You just turn it off after you get a client, but you don't even know if the client came from the Facebook ads. Yeah. So working with you, I actually was I'm sticking to this. I'm going to learn my numbers, get over your fear, just lean into it and see what you can do. And calculating the numbers from the past 3 months, I've doubled my profit. Wow. So that's a difference. So looking at the 3 months from last year and the 3 months from this year, double the profit. So it's not double the income, but you just spent just as much. So it's a 0 ROI. I've doubled my profits.
And that's what matters.
So the system works. You just have to put the work in and just be willing to lean in when you're frustrated. So whenever I get angry, I'll jump on a call, or something's not working. Before, I'd emotionally cut off and run away and just put a stupid Instagram post up to make myself feel better. And now I realize that's not a needle mover. That's not going to propel my business. And if I'm now a CEO where I have teammates under me, I can't act that way. So you've kind of made me grow up.
That's why I love coaching, right? It's all about helping us elevate as individuals.
Yeah.
So what advice, if someone's watching this or considering working with us, what advice would you give to them if they're sitting on the fence?
Well, I'd say just be willing to put in the work. That you have the system, and that's the thing where it's down to us to take responsibility for that, right? Like you have it, you have the 7-figure pipeline, you have the support and basically all the coaches that are the best in their fields to help. It's just, we have to be willing to put in the work. And then it's saying, yeah, this is the action plan. And I'm not going to go and look at left and right and Instagram and YouTube. Like, you have the system and just focus on it. And just, you'll be amazed at a year or 3 years, and you just put yourself into it and say, I'm not going to do any other action step other than this. And it'll work. Like, absolutely, it'll work. I guarantee it.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I just want to, before we finish off, touch on something you talked about, like, getting frustrated when things don't work, because
It's all part of it.
It's all part of it, right? Like, there are moments when stuff is hard. Like, stuff is hard.
Yeah.
Your ads don't work. Certain things fall through the cracks.
Yep.
So you do bring up a good point of the fact that, like, listen, like, you have to put in the work. You have to understand that there's no easy button. We've made it simple, but yeah, I just wanted to touch on that and just acknowledge you for being mature enough to recognize that, and like showing up and moving through that, right? Because it's very easy to quit when things get tough.
Yeah. And like, I'd say that frustration, we always, like, you kind of read those motivational posts. It's like that fear of frustration is just one step to that where you want to be. I'm like, oh yeah, it is. So now, like, I've learned, instead of leaning away, I'll lean into that frustration, because I'm like, something's good's going to happen of it, or I'm just going to learn to not do this thing ever again. But anybody listening, like, it's just the best decision I've ever made. So I'm just excited to continue on. And by the end of the year, having that 7 figures, so we'll do another one of these.
Totally. Awesome. Well, Jill, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And just keep on rocking. You're the best.
Awesome.